Hello, thank you for joining us for Cyber Threat Thursday. I'm Kristin Judge, the CEO of the Cybercrime Support Network, and I'm so excited to have Jorij on our program today from the E-commerce Foundation because it is holiday shopping season all around the world. So we wanted to come to you today and talk to you a little bit about how his organization is fighting global scams using AI. So we're going to dive into some of the work that he does and then have a nice discussion like we do on Thursday. So Jorij, thank you so much for being here. If you could introduce yourself a little bit and let everybody know what you do.
Sure. Thank you very much for having me, Kristin. I really enjoy it. My name is Jorij Abraham, or making it easier, Jorij Abraham. I'm the general manager of the E-commerce Foundation. Our mission is to foster global digital trade, and one of our key initiatives is called Scamadviser.com, which is an online algorithm to identify if a website is legit or possibly a scam.
Great, thank you so much. And so I'm going to take a minute to share Scamadviser so people can actually see it. And I'd love to have you walk everybody through what they see on our screen here. We'll start with the first one.
Well, as you see, it's the homepage, and we have about 2.5 million consumers every month checking our database. So people type in, for example, Amazon.com, and then they get this page. And as you can see, we give Amazon, not surprisingly, a trust score of 100%, meaning it's very, 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 very likely legit. And Amazon has also about 23,000 reviews, so and those are mainly positive. And please click, Christine. What our algorithm does is we take data from more than 40 different data points, and as you can see, for Amazon.com, that results in quite a lot of positive highlights. So we see that the website has been registered ahead of time for more than 1 year, meaning that Amazon has claimed the domain name not only for 2020, for 2021, but I believe in their case for more than 10 years ahead. Well, the website is obviously also very old. It's very popular. A lot of people know it. A lot of other websites link to it, meaning that it has authority. We of course check the SSL certificate if it's valid. There have been some mixed reviews, but in general it's positive. But we also, for example, looked at the technology. How much does they spend on technology? And for us, it's a good identifier because, very honestly, many scammers do not pay much for technology. So if we find that they do pay a lot, then it's likely not to be a scam. So this is an example of a site which our algorithm checked, and we check about 50,000 a day. Maybe also a negative one that's called Deals van de Dag, which happens to be Dutch. This website we gave a very low ranking, A1. It only has 10 reviews on Trustpilot and Sitejabber and Google Shopping. But if we zoom in on the highlights, it becomes obvious why we gave it a very low trust score. I mean, the owner is hiding his contact details, which we think is always a little bit suspicious. The website is very young. It's only a few months old. It's not very popular. It doesn't have a valid SSL certificate, which in our view is really especially if it's an online store and you don't have an SSL certificate, it's really, really bad. We discovered several negative reviews. What we also see is, okay, there are a lot of reviews in a very short amount of time, and what we see, of course, there are a lot of fake reviews out there. I mean, for a few bucks, you can buy 100 reviews on Trustpilot and other sites. So we also monitor how fast the website gains reviews, because we know that only 1 in 100 people who shop at a website actually leave a review. So if you have a lot of reviews in a very short time, it's either you're very popular or it's a little bit suspicious. What our algorithm also does, for example, is check, okay, which other websites are on the same server. And we often see with scam sites that there are not one other website on the same server, but 200 different websites, all offering about the same thing. and all being suspicious. So then we also lower the trust score. So this is just an idea of how our algorithm came to be.
Yeah, that's fantastic because, when you see a new website or a website that you want to buy something from, there's really nowhere else to go to say, is this legitimate? And there's a lot of things people should check: is SSL certificate, how long has the website been around? And you're doing all of that for us, which is really a fantastic service, because then people can make better shopping decisions.
That's exactly how I personally came across Scamadviser. I mean, Scamadviser was set up in 2012 by a UK citizen, Mark. He is a developer, and the reason why he started building Scamadviser was he got scammed. I mean, a little bit typical. He bought a golf set online. It proved to be a fake, and well, nothing is more dangerous than an angry developer. So he started to develop the algorithm, and in 2018, the e-commerce foundation took over, and we've been investing more and more into making the algorithm better in recognizing, because unfortunately scammers are getting smarter and smarter. So we continuously have to invest to make our algorithm smarter as well.
Yeah, and we know that they're using the AI. I've done quite a few panels over the past year about AI and insider threat, and we really have to incorporate all of this machine learning into what we do. And I know you all have done quite a bit of research on scams and consumers. Tell us a little bit about your research, and what are the main scams you've come across?
Maybe to start with the main scams, it's interesting to see how, well, I mean, of course it's negative, but scammers are really entrepreneurial. When Corona hit Europe and slightly later the US, the first thing we noticed, our traffic went up 40%, because everybody started to buy online. And what we very quickly discovered is that the scammers moved from the obvious scams to Corona related. So they were starting to sell masks, sell respirators, the cure for Corona.
Saw a few of those.
We are seeing a surge actually at the moment with a vaccine and Corona.
Vaccines, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to do my Cyber Tip Tuesday next week on the vaccine scams, and we got to start keeping track of those. They definitely, the criminals follow what the catastrophes in a sense, and they try and capitalize on it. Yeah. Now, what about the research?
Yeah, there are three interesting papers we've wrote in the last year. One is why consumers get scammed, and we wanted to better understand how does this happen. And what surprised me is we did a survey amongst 5,000 consumers. Is everybody can get scammed? It's not only we often think, okay, you're stupid if you get scammed. That's not true. Right. Everybody can get scammed. And what we learned is actually that PhD people get scammed the most. And that was a big surprise for me. And the reason is they like to experiment. They see, I don't know, but okay, I can lose $25. I'm going to try it. So they and very honestly, Christine, what we also learned is that men lose more money online in scams than women. So
they're afraid. They never like to ask directions, right? Like the typical. And I think of it's just really interesting how when we look at how many people are being scammed and who's being scammed, everybody really can be a victim of a scam. It is not that they're stupid, even though people do feel shamed. And I think of it as book smart and street smart, what you just brought up. The PhD students or the PhD holders are very book smart, but maybe there's people that don't think like that in the analytical way, that might just get that gut feeling and are more street smart online. Is that potential?
Yeah, absolutely. And you see also that scammers are focusing on specific target groups. I mean, some are focusing on the young. A few months ago, I had to protect my youngest son with Minecraft, and you could buy something on a website, and it was very cheap. And but okay, it's a scam. And we see the same with elderly people I mean, I had a elderly person on the phone a week ago. She lost 700,000 euros
Oh,
in a investment scam, and scammers really target specific groups. And I mean, we all receive the emails with spelling errors that you can you win $20 million. You only have
right.
to give your bank account. But those emails are sent 100,000 per hour, and they're not meant for us. They're meant for people who do not see the spelling mistakes because they're really targeted to specific groups.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So do you see scams developing globally? Because you have, we're US centric here, but you're global. So tell us a little bit about how that works.
Yeah, I mean, the USA is our biggest country in sense of
Oh,
people visiting Scamadviser, but
okay.
I mean, it's from China, nearly any country we get visitors from, and it's really indeed very dispersed. And what we see is that in every country has this preferred scam. So in China,
Mhm.
game scams are very popular, where you can buy a magic sword to play in a game, and
Mm.
people buy those online, and then they get scammed because there is no magic. Well, in the game there is, but not you cannot buy it online. And but the amounts being spent on those kind of magic swords are huge. And we see in India a scam called high yield investment program is very popular, where the website promises a return on investment of 1% per day, which even in India the interest rate is very high, but it's not that high. And but people fall for it, and it's not a few.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting to see culturally there are different things that people might be more willing to pay attention to, and so you get that view. And that's interesting. Is some of that potentially written in the research sometimes
Yeah,
too, where you see? Okay.
what we did is we published a study called the Global State of Scam. It was just published less than a month ago. And what we did in that study is we collected data for 31 countries about how many scams are reported, how much money is lost. And what we learned is that if you count it all up, about 36 billion euros is lost in scams last year. And that's, of course, an incredible amount.
Yeah, this is an economic issue. And, a lot of times people think, oh, well, that's just like someone's computer got hacked. It's not a big deal. But when I look at those numbers, 36 billion euros, whatever, these are dollars that are leaving people's pockets so that then they cannot spend it on Main Street. They can't spend it on their retirement or college or their student loans. So people are losing real money, which is impacting our economy. So we have to start thinking about scams, I think, not just on one person got scammed, what did they lose, but look at how it impacts everything else.
Yeah.
Your work really, when I read the global scams document, it helps us show that, look, has a bigger impact than just one person at a time. So I appreciate you being out front on that.
And what I think is what we're often forgetting, are the official numbers, in the sense these are reported. But from the previous study we did among those 5,000 consumers, we learned that only 7% of all the scams are actually reported. And I mean, it differs per country, but people often think, oh, I got scammed. I'm not reporting it. I feel stupid, or it's only a small amount, or are, how do you say, ashamed of being scammed.
Yeah, especially the romance scams. Seniors losing their entire retirement savings. We are working on some peer support groups. Many times when they enter the peer support groups that they've been in before, they're having suicidal thoughts because they could be in their 70s, they have no money left, maybe no spouse left, and they don't see where to go. And so sometimes their adult kids will then think, oh no, you can't handle money anymore, I have to take away all your privileges. And it's a really, really life-changing event. So we have to understand there's more to this than just someone lost some money or their computer got hacked. This is a big deal, and we need to pay attention to. So speaking of that, like individuals, so do you get requests from individuals asking for help, and how do you help consumers avoid online shopping scams at Scamadviser?
Very honestly, that's one of our weaknesses. I mean, and I'm very happy that the Cybercrime Support Network is there, because
Yeah.
we are not very good equipped in helping people. And I mean, we get two kinds of questions. I've been scammed. How can I get my money back? And we try to help them a little bit there, but the most money is lost is actually in cryptocurrency, and it's unfortunately very, very difficult to get your money back if you paid in cryptocurrency.
Right.
But even more importantly is the emotional damage, and that's something we're not equipped to. But the emotional damage, I think personally, is often much bigger than the financial loss. I mean, the anger. People either feel very, very angry, or they really feel very depressed because they trusted a person.
Right.
And the scammers can be really very personal. They really can get under your skin. You really believe that he or she has the best intentions with you, and until you find out that your money is gone and he or she is no longer replying.
I did a podcast with a woman who is called, she has the title Small Biz Lady, and she's been helping small businesses for many, many years. And I'm just so proud to know her, because she actually came out and publicly on our podcast said, I lost $100,000 and now my business is in jeopardy. But the scammers, they set up calls on Zoom with her. They courted her for months. They helped her realize, look, you're going to be helping charity. You just have to do this. We'll put the money over there, and then we'll give it all to charity. And I mean, it was a huge process. They went through a lot of time. So any person in her position would say, well, of course this is legit. I've had all these meetings with them. They have this website. There was just really no red flags. So she was doing something good by working with them. They had all the angles. So people have to understand, these scammers are really good. And you have to think about too, what do you have online about you on your Instagram, on your LinkedIn, on your webpage for your work, wherever, that they can learn enough about you in 20 minutes that they can write to you in a way that makes them seem like they know who you are and they can connect with you. So please don't put everything about yourself on Facebook and Instagram, because they will use that. Yeah.
And the scary thing is with artificial intelligence and all the automations which are now nearly free online, they can do the personalization mass bulk.
Right.
It's so easy to send out personalized emails with all the Facebook data and other data we leave online.
That's right. They can just gather that with AI. And then, like you said earlier, they send out not just 1 or 2 emails a day, they send out 10,000. And even if they get hits on 3 of them that each give them $100,000, especially if they live in a third world country, that's a lot of money. And I think at the end of the day, the only way we're going to get these scammers to stop is if they don't make a lot of money on it. And so to me, we have to change the behavior of the people that are listening to us right now, so that they feel empowered to not give that money away. They just need a little help understanding what it looks like out there. And you're doing such a good job of showing and sort of like taking the veil off these scammers by using Scamadviser. We can see a little bit more about what they're up to. So talk to me a little bit more about how AI and Scamadviser can be used to identify the scams before they happen. So talk to me a little bit deeper about how the AI is working, if you would.
Yeah, I cannot share everything because
nothing proprietary. Yeah.
No, it's not about proprietary. It's we don't want to make the scammers smarter than they already are.
Right. Right. Good point. Okay.
No, but what we did until a year ago, we automated rules. So what I just discussed. Okay, we see a website is very young. That has an impact. I mean, it's just if you go through a shopping street, if there's a new hairdresser, it's 2 days old, and through the window you see a very young person, then you might say, I come back next week and see how others thought about it. So that's an easy rule. And what AI now enables us is we feed all the data into our database, and it's seeing relationships on a level we as humans do not see. Their relationships in wording, so how are certain texts worded on the site, there are relationships in the technology being used, and it helps us really identify scams much better.
Yeah.
But there's still a long way to go. I mean, there are also a lot of false positives, so we have to be careful not to hurt legitimate businesses.
That's a good point. And so when people come here, you're giving them a rating. You're not saying this one is absolutely a scam. You're saying based on our best guesstimate, it's either a 50%, 50-50 chance, and then maybe the person then can do some more of their own due diligence, like call the customer service line to double check, or go on the help desk part. If they are not legit, they're probably not going to have a 24/7 customer service line or respond to your inquiries. There's other things they can do.
That's exactly what Scamadviser is. We are only a tool, and we automate actually a lot of checks everybody should do. But it gives you a feeling, okay, what's the likelihood? And that's also how we're being used. I mean, there are several businesses who use our to fend advertise. If scammers also advertise, I mean, they have a profit margin of 100%. So they try to advertise on Google, on Facebook, and other social media platforms. And some of those platforms now use us to check new advertisers. What's the risk of accepting this advertiser? And I hope more and more social media networks will use us because they are being misused quite a lot at the moment.
That's a really good point. So you're not even just there for the consumer, but you're there for the business to make sure that they're putting out good information to their own customers. So you've got a B2B and a B2C role there. That's really great. How can we prevent, let's talk about re-victimization, which is something that CSN really focuses on. And people have heard me say many times, we don't believe we can necessarily stop all the victimization the first time, but we do know that there's a lot of people that get scammed again and again, and they've been re-victimized. So talk to me about what you know about re-victimization.
Yeah, there's something which is terribly, I mean, the name is terrible. It's called the donkey list. And what we discovered is that once you get scammed, there's a high chance that your phone number, email address, name, everything which you shared with that scammer is put on the dark web and shared with other scammers. And we see re-victimization in several ways. I mean, the easy way is with online. You buy a product from an online store. The product will never be delivered, but you don't know that yet. But after a while, you get impatient. You contact, and you get an email from a delivery company saying, "Hey, we have your package. It is at customs, but you have to pay customs, or you have to pay an additional fee, or a delivery fee, or an insurance fee." So that's one example of re-victimization. They know you already bought from an online store which does not exist, and then they try to get more money from you. The one which is even more harmful in the sense of money lost are the cryptocurrency scams. So people invested in cryptocurrency, but can also be oil, gold, anything, and they know they lost their money. But their contact details are being shared with so-called recovery companies.
Oh.
And these companies really target you and approach you with, "Hey, we saw that you lost money, but we are able to get it back for you. So you only have to pay $500 or $5,000. And if you give us your bank details and maybe also your login to your crypto wallet, we can track the scammer." And then people lose more money.
I wonder if it's even sometimes the same scammer. I know that the names are being sold out there, but you know, they probably they take your money and then they have all of your information. They can just say, "Oh, now I'm another company and I'm here to help you recover because I know you lost this." So yeah, it's a cycle that because of our work, we're trying to break. So I do know that hearing it from people like you and I isn't always the best way, because of something that happened in our family. One of our family members was almost the victim of a grandparent scam. And she didn't think, "Oh, Kristin's taught me about this her whole, past 10 years. She thought, "Oh, wait, this happened to a friend of mine and she told me about it." I don't want to have what happened to my friend happen to me. And that was her first reaction. So to me, it brought home the idea that we have to get people that have been a victim of these scams to talk about it and tell others. Don't be ashamed, because when you bring it up in a group, I'll bet you're not the only one in the group. Because in the US, Gallup has been doing research. We've done research. It's either between 1 in 4 people are a victim of scam this year, or 1 in 3. So it's about 50 million American adults every year. So I'm sure if you're in a room of people, probably not too many people anymore, but when you're in a room of people, at least some of them have been a victim. And it's important that we talk about it and make sure people know there are resources like Scamadviser out there, like Cybercrime Support Network with fraud support. We're helping people. There are resources so that you can make good decisions. You just need to stop and take a little bit of time. So I hope that people, after hearing us talk today, will go to Scamadviser before they do their online shopping. We want you to shop small and go to local businesses that are probably online, but just do your due diligence. Make sure you take a few minutes to look and see what's on Scamadviser, follow some of that guidance. And Jorij, we're so excited to have you as a partner and have you on today. Is there anything else you want to say just to wrap it up?
No, I fully agree with you. If we just take 5 minutes to think before we buy from a website where we never bought before, do your research, check scamadviser.com, but grab the phone, call them. I mean, scammers in generally don't like to talk to people. So take your time before you buy.
Yeah, there usually isn't a phone number with a true phone number with a malicious website. So yeah, thank you so much for the great work you do, especially during this holiday season. And thank you for spending time with me today on Cyber Threat Thursday. Again, I'm Kristin Judge at the Cybercrime Support Network, and we are here to help you through the holidays and beyond. And we will see you again for Cyber Threat Thursday soon. And then also check out Cyber Tip Tuesday. So follow me on LinkedIn and you'll get notifications when we go live. Thanks again so much again for being here with us, Jorij.
Thank you very much for having me, and hope to talk to you soon.
Absolutely.